Hello and welcome to another episode of What's Inside. Today we are looking at a Galactic Empires Primary Edition Basic Deck B. Now this is a pre-constructed deck, I believe, with 55 cards, and it should be enough for two people to play. It features the Machad, or Mechad, I don't know, versus Corporation. This is put out by Companion Games. Product number is CGE 1111. 4 ones, I don't know. So Companion Games put this out about 94, and this was their obviously second deck as part of the primary edition. There was the basic edition before this that was successful enough to warrant 3 new expansions. So we looked at the first one in another episode. The links should all be in the description for the other stuff we've opened. We've opened some boosters too. But let's open this up and see what's inside. The boxes do tend to be a little difficult to open. I'm not entirely sure on why. Might be an age thing. But the cards are not wrapped. They're just jammed in here really good. And there's a little advertisement for one of the artists who did this piece for something. We looked at it last time. It's in cooperation with Destiny Productions Inc. are proud to present Ed Beard Jr.'s Dragons of Space puzzle. 9-card puzzles derived from illustrations for Galactic Empires Primary Edition and can be found randomly inserted in the Flights of Fantasy Collector's card set and game as bonus cards. So it's just a cross promotion. So if you're a big completionist, you'll want this little insert paper as well. You can still find these decks sealed, so it shouldn't be that big of a problem. Alright, then we've got our rule book. This is just a black and white 40-some page rule book. Same images on the back. Was it 46 pages, I believe, that are numbered? Yeah. So the same ad is right here. And you've got your basic rules. It's all black and white, almost entirely text with some crude drawings. The staple on this one isn't rusted, whereas the first one we looked at was heavily rusted staple. So I think that's probably pretty hit and miss. It's always disappointing to find rusty staples. But there's a black and white layout of what the cards look like. It's just standard paper, nothing too fancy, but perfect size for putting in a deck box. So let's look at our cards here. First up we have a Space Dragon. Now this is what the back of the cards look like, by the way. Then we have a handheld weapon. Kreeby's carrier capsule. I'm sure I'm going to butcher a lot of these names, and I'm okay with that. Then we have a dragon hole. Write your own jokes. Machad, I don't know, medium cruiser. I'll use both words pretty interchangeably. Here's the point symbols, so you know what all these symbols mean. You have a little cheat sheet card in here, which is really cool. Really helps with knowing, you know, instead of consulting the rule book every time. It's got a little turn sequence down there. It's not that complicated of a game if you're using the cheat sheets. It really helps. Then we have an early warning beacon and a corporate scout cruiser, a shield fiend, a dust cloud, a mercenary, a distribution node, Armory Moon, Shuttlecraft, Maquad Destroyer, Defensive Satellites, a Love Interest, Corporate Frigate, Small Phaser Eel, Plasma Field, Security Officer, Offensive Electronic Warfare, Fuser Mechanism, Ore Moon, Maquad Escort, Pulsar, Engines Synchronization, Corporate Destroyer, Breakdown, Large Asteroid, Helmsman, Fleet Freighter, Phaser Refit, Comet, Maquad Light Cruiser, Probe, Injury, Corporate Light Cruiser, Lucky Targeting, Small Planet, Boarding Party, Indigran, I don't know, Frigate, I can't pronounce that, Nuclear Mine, Ionized Particle Field, Maquad Frigate, Commercial Outpost, Lucky Crew Action, Corporate Escort, Space Vertigo. There's a movie in there somewhere. Small System, Crewman, Indigran Escort, Transporter, Small Nebula, and lastly, Maquad Heavy Cruiser. Now sometimes when you see these, you'll notice that they are slightly off-center. That's actually fairly uncommon with these. They did a pretty good job most of the time, but every now and then there are a few that are off-center. Overall, this is a pretty fun game, I thought. A lot of people might disagree with me, but I thought it was a neat game. It is kind of a Magic clone, but it was an early sci-fi CCG, and that made it a little more fun for people like me that enjoy nice variation. If you don't like variation, then fine, be like that. But overall, I thought it was a fun game, and it had a lot of, more unique features that other card games of the time really didn't have. The sci-fi elements and stuff like that. But that is kind of where we're at with it. It's a fairly unique system, but it'd be a good change of pace for people that have never played a sci-fi game or want to try something more vintage. And I can't get these cards back in the box. So yeah, if you're into sci-fi stuff, you might want to give it a check. Some of the art is not that great. Some of it's pretty good. It's very 50-50 on that front. But I'd say give it a chance. You can still find sealed decks of it for about $6 to $10 online. So you're really not out much by picking it up. And it's a 2-player deck. So, yeah, 2 people can play a basic game with a single basic deck. So you can play 2 players with this. Of course they want you to get more, but the booster packs you can still find online. Most of them are relatively cheap. Time Gates and the Psychic one, which name escapes me right now, those are both fairly expensive, but you can find the first couple expansions fairly cheap for a couple bucks a pack. You know, the price really hasn't changed too much. They're about the same as regular booster packs. But these starters you can find relatively cheap, so I would recommend getting one or two of them. Give it a shot, see what you think. Might be something, you know, worth a change of pace. Try something different occasionally. But anyway, that's my opinion. I like this game. I like the card quality. It's good. They've held up really well over the last 20 years. So there is that as a bonus. Plus, it's not that hard of a game. But that'll do it for this episode. As always, thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. And we hope to see you on the next episode of What's Inside.